just stunned, you know. But every time I go to this international dinner, uh, I never, we never got to chapter 2. We always were dealing with chapter 1, and chapter 1 to me was like just you knew it before you heard it. You know, it was internal. You know, it was so rational and logical, and I was studying physics and chemistry and this kind of stuff. So I understood valences and the give and take and proton and neutron. And I was just fascinated. And then, but every time at Thursday when they asked me to go to a weekend seminar up in Indianapolis, I was originally born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was going to a community college there. And every time they asked me, I made sure that I asked my friend, let's make plans this weekend so I don't have to go on this retreat. So I got an excuse to not have to go to some religious seminar, with a bunch of moonies. And back then we were referred to as moonies. I don't know if it's derogatory or what. Father had a lot of fun with it when he talked about it. He was quite the comedian. But I never will forget hearing chapter 2, because finally this real honest Japanese woman asked me why, if I would come to the weekend seminar. I said, well, I have something I need to do this weekend. And she said, well, what about Friday? And I couldn't lie to her. She had this honesty. She had this heart about her that I could not face her, look her in the eye, and tell her lie. And so I said, well, I don't have anything going on Friday. She goes, what about Saturday? And I said, well, I don't have anything Saturday, because I had made plans for Friday. So instead of going up Friday night, they came and picked me up early Saturday morning. And I never will forget this guy giving a lecture. He had this tan, and he was like some kind of Adonis-looking creature. He was from California. And when I heard chapter 2, when I heard the Fall of Man lecture, I literally, for the first time in my life, after growing up around the Bible, being indoctrinated as a Catholic, for the first time in my life, the Bible actually made sense to me. And it was crystal clear. And I am sure, beyond a reasonable doubt, that it had more to do with my ancestry than it had to do with me. It had everything to do with those realities of the sacrifices, because I was from Louisville, Kentucky, and Louisville, Kentucky was where the term brother killing brother came from in the Civil War. And the reason that Louisville was fought over and skirmishes occurred so frequently is that you could not prosecute the Civil War without controlling Floyd Knobs above the falls. The Ohio River had falls that ran through. And if you didn't control Louisville, you could not prosecute the war. You could not move arms or ammunition. And I always wondered why it was that, there were so many people at that lecture heard exactly what I heard everything I heard. And, it was like another day, we're going home on Monday. No, I'm not going to go, study this anymore. That's enough. And not, maybe 2 of us out of 12, 14 people, I think 2 of us actually stayed and continued on and studied more about the divine principle. And I was 17, so, without my parents' permission, I didn't do anything. Now I had to convince my mom, who thought it was a brainwashing cult, and I had to get my dad. I had to explain to them that, I guess the reason I talk about this is because, it's so much about the Cain and Abel relationship, and I've had that struggle most of my life, that I could not, authority was something that really ate at me, and what I've learned is this last year, that it really and truly is an absolute truth when you can unite with the Abel figure, the person who is, really not perfect by any stretch, but definitely in a position to be providing direction. And that I always struggled with my entire life, and I think I got more of a handle on it last year than I've ever had on it in all of my life. And that's really all I got. It's way beyond 3 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Just had a request that some of us